All right, that's my job. Make decisions. That's what I try to make sure that I continue to do. And that's honestly what I do in all of my businesses for the most part. At Global Publishing, I teach. I'm here doing it now. And I write. And the rest of that I do is make major decisions. And honestly, I don't do very many of those. In the restaurant business, there's people in there making decisions as well. So I spend my life delegating everything as fast as I can to other people who are capable of making decisions, and then just keep an eye on them. In fact, I spend a lot of time with reports, and that's how the decisions are made. Okay, we're going to talk about the two fastest ways to get a check. Well, I'm sorry, one of the two fastest ways, because we're not going to discuss wholesaling on this training. If you want to come to my Quick Start School or get some courses that I'll offer you later, then obviously I cover all of that. I cover all aspects of real estate, but today we're going to be focused on pretty houses in pretty neighborhoods. Terms. No terms, no deal. No terms, no deal. So we'll get to work and talk about what that means here. Your biggest paycheck is going to come from a down payment or a deposit on a pretty house, meaning an owner-occupant family is going to move into the house and lease option it from you and give you a non-refundable option deposit, not a security deposit, a non-refundable option deposit that applies to their purchase when they buy or they forfeit when they leave. If you want to sell a house with owner financing, that will be a down payment, not a deposit. Either way, your big payday is going to come from those front-end checks that you get, and they can be large, as I'm going to show you here, and no credit will ever be needed in this part of the industry. So again, no terms, no deal. It's all about terms. It's a 5-letter word, terms. So what do we mean by terms? There's only 3 types. Type 1, you lease the property from the seller with an option to buy it. Lease option, we call it. You don't own the property, but you control it enough to go make money on it. Secondly, we can buy it with owner financing. That means there's no banks involved. The owner takes back a mortgage or a deed of trust from us where we make them monthly payments until sometime in the future when the property gets paid off because our tenant buyer occupant that we install went out and got a loan and paid everybody off. The seller does not get cashed out. The seller sells to us on terms, but everybody gets cashed out when that buyer goes and gets a new loan 1, 2, 3, however many years after the deal is done. Owner financing is very common in my world. It is the #1 way I buy pretty houses is with owner financing. I seldom buy ugly houses with it because they're mostly all cash deals. And lastly is get the deed, subject to, meaning the seller will just deed us the property and walk away and leave the loan in their own name, but we own the house. In fact, I think I'm going to show you an example of one of the recent ones of those I did in here and how I made money on it. So those are the only 3 types of terms: lease option, owner financing, or having someone just give you the house and walk away, which means there is no owner financing because the seller is leaving the loan in their own name, but you owe the seller nothing. Keep your eye on that now, because that's one of all of our students' most favorite way of buying houses is just having somebody deed it to them and walk away when the conditions are applicable, and it's happening thousands of times all over the country. The real money is made in building these residual income deals where you not only get some free equity, but you also get the upside. And in fact, I'll show you there's all kinds of cash producing portions of a deal that is properly constructed. Let's talk about money now, money monthly, and money later. These are my favorite kind of deals. Now I'm going to tell you again, every deal is not going to be one like this. So we're going to discuss some deals which you just have to get a check out of and move on. Then we're going to discuss some deals where you get that check, but you stay in and keep on getting checks, which are my favorite. We call these the golden geese because they just keep on laying golden eggs for a lot of years into the future, unlike wholesaling and retailing. Now look, I've wholesaled a lot of houses, and I've rehabbed over 900 houses and cashed them out. And again, this is the best time I've seen in a long time to be in the rehabbing business. But there's a big old problem with retailing. You get one check, you pay short-term capital gains, and you're done. You got to go do it again. So there is no retiring unless you can just build enough cash to go retire on. But most investors just spend their entire career rehab, sell, rehab, sell, rehab, sell. And don't forget, Uncle Sam is going to get a big chunk of that money because it is short-term capital gains, which means you're going to pay the maximum tax bracket on it. Same with wholesaling. Now, when we get over into the pretty house business, if that house is held for more than a year, and it usually is, now you're in long-term capital gains, maximum tax, 20%. Make sure you keep that in mind now when you're structuring the business plan that suits you. So the golden geese is dead on wholesaling and retailing. All right, and there's two categories of properties that you're going to run across in the pretty house business. And, well, there's actually three, but the third one is over-leveraged houses, and there's so few of those left anymore, I'm not even going to bring them into the discussion today. Most of the houses you find are going to have a debt, but it'll have some equity. And that's about 2/3 of the market. 1/3 of the market's free and clear. Do you know 1/3 of the houses in the country are free and clear? Well, they are, and you're going to naturally attract both of these as you're out generating leads, as I'm about to show you how to do. You're going to learn how to find sellers and find buyers and how to handle them both right here during this next session before we're through here today.